with summer break right around the corner, Makoto has decided to change up how he's going to teach the students. Instead of just having one blue lizard going against the students, he's going to bring a second one, and this completely destroys the students' plans. For originally they had planned to have a 1v7 fight and should be able to take down the blue lizard with that strategy. Now that they have to fight another one, they have two choices. Are they going to be doing a 2v7 fight, or going to be splitting up into two separate teams, a 4v1 and a 3v1? Regardless, it's going to be an uphill fight because we learned from Makoto that the new blue dragon is a bit stronger than the original, and the original is a bit more skilled than the new one. So regardless of how they have their team composition set, it's going to be an uphill fight, and pretty much it's demonstrated to us right away with the students just getting their butts kicked. Now, with the conclusion of that lesson, summer break can start, and the students, most students would just go have fun in the summer, meet up with different friends, do fun activities. Instead, what the students do, just like their master is a little bit strange, they go and ask Makoto if he'd be willing to train them over the summer. And Makoto, for his part, was trying to, I would love to train you guys, but I got some stuff to do. He's trying to slip out of it some way. Unfortunately, Shiki is either not picking up that he wants to not teach the students, or he's thinking that this would be good for Makoto to teach the kids more in the form of magic and self-preservation with his teaching. So he states that Makoto does have a time in the week that will be open for training, and Makoto, not wanting to just outright reject the students because he sees how hopeful they are, he's like, okay, fine, I'll train you once a week, but here's my one condition. The Rembrandt sisters, halfway through the summer, you have to return back home because your father's extremely concerned for you. And the reason why is that they just got over the curse, so he's very concerned about his daughter's safety, even though they want their dad to stop smothering them. And they do protest to stay with the rest of the team. Although they're not necessarily happy with this decision, they see it as the only option, so they acquiesce to Makoto's demand. With that agreed upon, the students start their new training regimen for the summer, and well, their first training class goes just as well as the original one did, except for it's a little bit different now. Jet, when he was fighting the second blue lizard, he called him a jerk, and he didn't necessarily like that, and the blue lizard completely destroyed the team that was fighting against him a little bit more heavily than what usually happens. And Makoto apologizes that, so apparently he didn't like Jet calling him a jerk, and the reason for that is that he is actually a she. So she didn't really appreciate being insulted like that during their fight. Now, at that, the students do apologize, and they ask if they can go again, which the blue lizard allows, and they have another convenience of training. Now, of course, they get destroyed again, but still, it's good to see that they're willing to keep going even after they get completely demolished. And they also learned from this conversation that both the blue lizards have only been using about maybe 10% of their strength. So the fact that they're still willing to go after that is also big bonuses for them, for they're willing to learn and still improve their strength, even if the opponents that they're facing is pretty much a mountain for them. And it's pretty much going to be impossible for them to defeat. They're still willing to go, so you got to give them mad respect for that. With the completion of their summer lesson, the students decided to go and check out a close-by force that Shiki recommended for them to test their combat skills in a real-life situation against monsters. And they seem to do pretty well at it, slaying beasts left and right until they come across a drake. Now, originally, you're supposed to fight a drake when the party members are all at level 90. They're all around the mid to low 70s, but they still want to give it a try, and they approach the drake, although they don't even get so much as a foot into his clearing when the drake notices them and just shouts a scream of terror at them, freezing them in place, and then he's about to blast them with a fiery breath. But thankfully, they get saved in the nick of time by a short little hooded master saying a whole bunch of nonsensical and crazy things to them with a whole bunch of odd greetings that they're all like, wait, what's going on here? Now, who this individual is that just saved their life is the girl from Makoto's shop, who Makoto had bribed her with some bananas to go and babysit his students because he was concerned about them. He trusted them to do well against most creatures, but he just wanted a little bit extra insurance, which was a great thing to do because if they fought that drake alone, right now Makoto wouldn't have any students and all the kids would be now crispy critter. So all in all, a very smart decision to send her out to watch over the students and protect them from any major threat. And this really kicks off the start of an incredible summer for these students that will not be forgotten shortly. Now, as the students are making their preparations for summer break and getting their trips ready to go, Makoto hears from Rona that she has uncovered the entire dark organization that was behind the experiments within the academy and has compiled a list for him to go hunt them down. Now, Makoto is absolutely shocked by her efficiency, and he comments that his subordinates should be a lot more like her, but they all have disagreements on her methods and the way she conducts business, her mannerisms, and her dress. They just aren't big fans of her, but for Makoto, he can't argue with results, and he even gets a warning from Shiki that, hey man, I know you're a big fan of her results, but you can't really trust her, and also, she does not like hot pots. Like, how can you trust someone that does not know the true value of a hot pot? And Makoto's listening with half an ear, but in reality, he's just like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever, guys. Regardless of his subordinate's feelings toward Rona, Makoto still decides to go meet up with her, and he has a great conversation with her about espionage, how that morals are great, but when you're doing the dirtier line of work, you gotta get your hands a little bit dirtier. And Makoto makes it know that and appreciates her heads up. Also, they come to agreement that the information she passes on to him, Makoto himself will go deal with the scum within the university to clear him out, so that way Eve doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Before they depart, though, she does mention a few pieces of information that Makoto would be interested in if he was just a normal merchant. She tells him that Shiki isn't actually Shiki but a lich, and that the two girls working for him in his store are actually ogre girls who will eventually get rowdy and betray him and probably destroy his entire store. That's kind of what she was leaning on, that he should get rid of all of them right away, and that if he ever needs her help in the future, that he should contact her telepathically and passing a piece of paper over to him. And with that, she leaves one last thing, that she would really like to introduce Makoto to the Demon King, that Makoto, he appreciates, he thanks her for thinking so highly of him, but the facial expression that we see is that he really doesn't want to meet this Demon King, but it'd be rude for him to reject her out of hand. And with that, she just disappears before we even notice it. So she definitely has master skills in illusions and disguises, so we didn't even get to see her leave. Now, with this information from Rona, Makoto goes and he rounds up all the people in the university and he gets rid of them. And the last person that he meets up with is the Professor Brett, who had been assigning the assassins to go after Makoto and who was behind the majority of things that were going on within the academy. Now, he does plead with Makoto, saying that if he kills him or hurts him, the rest of the organization is going to come after him, but Makoto just brushes it aside like it doesn't matter. They're not going to come for you. They've forgotten about you. And then Makoto goes into why the professor joined the organization, because it isn't teaching enough, and why involve the demi-humans. For the teacher, he tells him that he blames the gods for a lot of the evils going on in the world, that yes, the gods chose humans, but she's very selective on the humans that she pays attention to. She doesn't care about the rest of the humans, that if you don't have her attention, you could be just as well not blessed by her at all. So it's a bit of spite that went into there. Also, for the demi-humans, it's a little bit different between the dub and the sub. In the sub, he says that why shouldn't they be used as experiments? They deserve to be used that way. Versus in the sub, he makes it sound more egalitarian, that shouldn't they also pay into the suffering hour experiment? And I feel like the sub version is a lot more evil, which is why Makoto goes ahead and kills him, because Makoto at this point, he's like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, I hear you, and I actually somewhat agree with you guys, until you mention that part about the demi-humans. Versus in the dub version, yes, you can say Makoto is still somewhat justified, but it doesn't make as much sense why you went ahead and killed him. But in the sub, it makes more sense, because he's dissing on demi-humans, he still sees them as lowlifes, as trash, so I understand why Makoto went after him and just took him out. With his death, the university is now safe and clear again, so Makoto no longer has to worry about Eve. And one more thing I want to mention here real quick is that Makoto also learns during this episode that Tomoe made one of their human subordinates demi-human servant of Tomoe, so he's completely no longer human now. So kind of like how a vampire makes you one of their servants is what I'm guessing is what's happened here. So he's now officially part of Makoto's group. Whether he likes it or not, there's no way out for him now. And Makoto gives her a good scolding for this. Now, there's not really too much that can be done. I mean, he did ask for it, so It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but she should have known better to hold off on doing that to a human for at least another couple of years. Now, that really wraps up this episode. Let me know what you guys thought. What part of this episode did you like? Did you like the training montage? Did you prefer the students going into the woods? Or did you like Makoto cleaning up the university after finding all the dark individuals within? And do you think Makoto would have actually joined the dark organization if he was offered the chance to join them and he actually agreed with most of what they were doing? I'm betting they would have if they hadn't looked so far down demi-humans. I will bet that Makoto would have joined up on the organization to take down the goddess. So that's just my opinion. But you guys leave a comment down below, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.